His hunting instinct rang out again. He could tell that she was running on the floor underneath him. He raised his arms above his head, then started pounding the ground of the dilapidated site over and over again until it gave way. After jumping into the newly formed entry, he rushed in the direction of his target. Charging through wall after wall, he eventually caught up to the woman. The woman continued running. She looked over her shoulder to see the monster catching up to her more and more. Too engrossed in her escape attempt, she had failed to realize that she was outside.
Oh no,
the woman said, knowing her fate, and it wasn't the monster behind her that she was worried about. The monster could feel the tremble in her voice, as well as the heat emanating from outside. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a tale from the SCP Foundation. In the shadowy world of the SCP Foundation, we confront countless monsters and anomalies. But did you know there's another unseen threat lurking in the corners of the internet? That's right, our organization's online security is crucial. That's why we trust NordVPN to protect us. Personally, I love using NordVPN to unlock movies, series, and sports from around the globe. It's amazing that by switching to Japanese Netflix, I can now watch my favorite anime, Attack on Titan. And the best part, I can do it securely and privately. We really appreciate that one NordVPN account can be used on up to 6 devices simultaneously, protecting your data on every gadget you own. With NordVPN, you'll experience faster broadband speeds and be safeguarded against malware, intrusive tracking, and malicious ads, even when not connected to a VPN server. Don't wait. Secure your digital life by visiting nordvpn.com/therubber to get the 2-year plan with an exclusive deal plus 4 extra months. Plus, it's risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, you can easily get all your money back. Keep cyber threats at bay like the SCP containment. Stay safe online with NordVPN. Click the link below and take advantage of this limited-time offer now. He was alone. Alone in the site that once contained him. He could remember that this place used to be full of scientists and agents. They had given him the name Shy Guy. But now, there is only the shadow of what the site was. These shadows are fleshy things that would just ignore him, and he too would ignore them in turn. Why? Because they never looked at him or his face. He didn't go outside. The outside scared him more than anything. Yes, he was scared of the outside, but not because he would become one of those shadows, but because he had the horrible feeling that someone would look at him, at his body, his face. He also knew that it would not be a person that was looking at him. It would be the ball of fire in the sky, the sun, and there wasn't a single thing he could do about it. Sure, he pondered over the idea of going outside at night, but he was still too scared. Besides, he had no reason to go outside. Inside the site, he was alone. Inside the site, there was no one to look at him. Inside the site, he was free to cry alone in the darkness. Inside the site, it was paradise. One day, while he was sobbing alone, like every other day, he heard a voice of a woman. He could hear the woman asking for help and food. Through the sound of the sobbing, he could hear her approaching little by little. The voice of her begging for help was getting closer. When the woman got to the room he was in, she screamed in fear, deathly terrified by the scraggy, pale monster that was sobbing in the corner. Surprised by the scream, he turned around and saw the woman, with a small child holding her hand. The woman was looking directly at him. He could feel the anger and emotion that he hadn't felt in a long, long time, creeping up to him. He screamed so loudly that it stunned the woman and sent her stumbling backwards. He could feel the anger boiling again. Then he realized she looked at his face. Not just anyone's face, his face. The monster's rage took hold of his body as it trembled with the urge to chase and hunt. She had seen his face, so she must die. He let out yet another deafening screech. It was a sweet release of all that pure, primal rage contained within. He hadn't felt so alive in such a long time. The woman scrambled out of the room in sheer panic, leaving behind the child who was holding her hand. The monster gave chase. She ran towards a light that gave off some kind of heat. Eventually, they reached the outer facility. Her body started melting as soon as the light hit, beginning with her head. Her nose slid off her face. One of her eyes popped out of her skull, hanging on by a single, stringy vein. She tried to move back into the shadow under the facility, but her legs had already melted into a red, fleshy mush. She screamed in pain until her mouth was no more. The monster looked furiously at his dying prey, stolen from him. After the painful death of his target, he returned to sobbing as usual. However, he was interrupted yet again by the sound of another human. Not from the woman, as she was now a shadow like the rest, but from behind him. He turned around. The little girl who had been holding the woman's hand was now standing in front of him. She was bawling her eyes out while calling the name of her mother. She rubbed her eyes and opened them, then looked in the direction of the pale monster, directly at his face. Moments passed. He waited for his anger to swell up, but it didn't come. She was clearly looking directly at his face, yet he felt not a hint of rage. He was confused, so he approached the child to ascertain what he had just witnessed. Strangely enough, the girl didn't really look at him. Sure, he and the child clearly made eye contact, but the girl did not see his face. This little girl was blind. She was still crying and asking for help. She assumed there was someone else with her since she heard the sound of crying. She walked forward while lifting her arms to avoid bumping into something else. Upon touching the monster, she said with a tiny and innocent voice, "Mommy?" These simple words touched the monster. He had thought he would only feel sadness and anger for the rest of his life, but these words changed everything. With this realization, the confusion turned to happiness. He looked at the little girl closely, as if he was making sure that she was indeed real. He slowly wrapped his long arms around the girl, then hugged her. The girl hugged him back. The crying of both the monster and the little girl stopped. They lived together. The monster had found himself a friend, and the little girl had found herself a guardian. When the monster interacted with the girl, he felt human. He was treated like an animal in his cell, like a monster. Nobody ever thought that there was a heart inside the ruthless killer. For the first time, he found someone that could understand him. Likewise, the girl was happy with the monster. Even though she didn't know what he looked like, she knew him for what he was deep inside. He was a surprisingly good parent. He would protect the girl at any cost. The monster would bring the girl food, mostly scavenged from other survivors. On one occasion, the girl tripped on a metal beam. The monster was so furious, he destroyed the beam as he would any other prey. He gripped the beam between his long fingers, then slammed it into a wall, screaming furiously until the wall collapsed. Afterwards, there was nothing left of the beam, and the girl seemed happy about it. She had total confidence in the monster, confidence he shared. Nothing could stop them. The only thing that ever bothered them was the fleshy shadows. These wriggly things tried to make prey of the little girl. Sometimes they would attempt to lure her into the brightness of the sun by imitating the sound of her mother. Other times, they would simply try to kill her outright. Fortunately, every time the shadows became a nuisance, the pale monster would swiftly correct them. They couldn't approach the girl. Their deceptive voices failed to reach the girl, drowned out by the screams of the monster. The monster protected the girl no matter what. There was only that one day, that one single moment that destroyed everything. The monster and the little girl were playing around with the rubble of the site. He was lost in thoughts. He thought of the sun, the big red monstrosity that broke the day and was waiting to break his day. He had a bad feeling churning inside. Then he looked back at the girl, only to see that she wasn't near him anymore. He looked all around him, but she was nowhere. He quickly left the room, only to see her walking toward the entrance. She was 2 feet from the entrance, 2 feet from outside where she would meet the sunlight. She was following the voice of the Shadow Man, but this one wasn't imitating the sound of her mother. It was imitating the voice of the crying monster. He was too far from the entrance, so he ran fast, faster than when he would track prey. The girl wasn't stopping. She was still following his false twin's voice. He was so close to reaching her, but the girl was already outside when he arrived. She screamed in pain as one of her arms began to melt. Her body went into shock, and she immediately passed out. The monster made a choice. Without hesitation, he rushed out of the building to confront the sun. He too began to melt, but he pushed on still. He got above the little girl and shielded her from the sunlight that was trying to do her in. The pain was immeasurable, but it didn't matter, so long as he protected the girl. He knew he would not survive. He just hoped that the girl would. The monster dragged her back into the site while blocking any sunlight from reaching her. She remained unconscious, and her left arm was missing. His body didn't stop melting. He knew he would soon become one of these flesh things too. And so he took one final look at the girl and shed a single tear. The tear landed on the arm of the child, and by some miracle, the melting stopped. He ran away as fast as he could from the site to make sure that he would not harm the child, stopping only when his legs were melted entirely. He couldn't see the site anymore. He was now looking upon the vast sea. The monster laid on his back and looked at the sun one last time, placed just above the horizon. He looked on as his eyes melted. He unleashed a long, powerful scream that could be heard from a mile away. A scream so powerful it dragged the dust off the ground, carrying it far into the distance. A scream of sadness mixed with anger. Then the screaming stopped, leaving behind a silence, a dead silence. There have been 27 attempts on SCP-096's life in the past 6 months, all directed by the man who set him free, Dr. Daniels. His termination has been delayed in order to allow him to oversee the destruction of SCP-096. But the O5s are losing their patience. Dr. Daniels is a condemned man. But if all he can do is fail, well, they have plenty of other people who can handle this project. He has a month left. Regardless of his results, at the end of that month he will be terminated. These are his last days and last attempts to take SCP-096 with him. Daniels, for his part, has spent the last 6 months in a cell. On a good day, he is escorted to the testing chambers to oversee an attempt, and then back to that cell. Today, however, is not one of those days. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a tale from the SCP Foundation. Daniel sat silently on his bed, his fingers interlocked with thumbs twirling around one another, thinking what step will he take next should the current plan fail. Occasionally, he gets up, pacing to and fro in the cell, and then sits back down. Unhurried footsteps coming from further down the hallway. Daniel stares eagerly at the door. The door opens when the footsteps stop. It's his colleague, Dr. Carver, one of the few who has the least disdain for Daniels. 2 guards make their appearances from behind, with their weapons at the ready. You can put those guns away. What am I gonna do, kill you? Ease up a little, all right? Good to see you too, Daniels. Did it work? Well, 682 skinned 096 alive and dissolved its flesh with acid. The bones were unaffected though. Quite astounding, really. Daniels chuckles, much to Carver's chagrin. Knew this would happen. It's like pitting an unstoppable force against an immovable object. Quite a miracle, that Shy Guy, isn't he? Can't you take this more seriously? You know they're gonna kill me once I get this done, yeah? I think a little sarcasm is a small price to pay for my sanity. You killed hundreds of people. These are simply consequences. I didn't kill anyone. That thing killed them. I just showed you what was possible. Carver is annoyed, but he doesn't show. He waves his guards away and leaves the door ajar. Daniels, I like you. You're a good worker, an earnest worker, maybe a little too earnest sometimes. But this time, you went too far. You were too idealistic for your own good. I mean, what were you thinking? Letting loose 096. You know, I tried to appeal your case to the O5s. Well, maybe if you people were a little more practical, maybe 096 wouldn't have gone on rampage like it did, now wouldn't it? Instead of talking so much. See, this is your problem. You wouldn't listen. You think you're above the rest of us. You're too egotistic for your own good. And see where we're at? In 5 seconds, I can walk through the door and live my life, while you will stay here and rot until the end of the month. Always talking about the preservation of specimens, instead of looking at the real threats around us. These are the things that should not exist alongside us. You guys needed a little wake-up call, and I've just done you lot a favor. I used to look up to you, Daniels. What happened to you? I've never changed. Perhaps you just think too much of me. By the end of this month, the Foundation will be rid of one of the stubborn pests for good. What will you guys achieve in the next few months, I wonder? You self-righteous bastard. He leaves the room and slams the door shut. Daniels only lies down on his bed, staring at the dull ceiling. Suddenly, he has an epiphany. He remembers something Carver said earlier. He quickly scrambles to the door and bangs at it. Knock it off in there, will ya? Carver, the lab coat. Call him back right now. I have something important to tell him. The guard hollers down the corridor to call Carver, who reluctantly paces back to Daniel's cell. What now? The statue. We can use the statue against 096. What the hell are you talking about? You said its bones were still intact, right? And breaking bones is what 173 does. You want to cross-test an object you can't look at with an object you have to look at? The logistics alone would be… What? Do you think it's a bad idea? Carver becomes silent. He shudders at the thought of having to engage two of the most dangerous anomalies in the Foundation at once. Surely, Daniels has lost his mind, and he feels like he has to. I think most of what you say is a bad idea, and I hate to say that this is one of the rare promising ones. Daniels grins. Carver gives a reluctant nod and leaves. A few weeks later, Daniel stands at the center of a large room. Standing alongside him is Carver. The tension in the room is palpable. He can almost feel the hate of the scientists, agents, and command council members when they glance in his direction. He isn't fazed by any of it. In fact, he enjoys it. It makes him feel superior to them, despite wearing the same coat as the rest of them. With that smug look that Carver hates so much, Daniels takes a step forward and motions to the screen behind him. SCP-096 has proven much more difficult to destroy than we previously had considered. You've been briefed on our past attempts. Fire, radiation, acid, kinetic force. Our most recent test involved SCP-682. Though it was exciting to behold, I'm sure, it was also unsuccessful. He turns around to play the recording. 682 is seen being shown an image of 096 using a projector on the cell wall. A shriek is then heard off screen. As 682 turns towards the sound, 096 rushes towards 682 in a frenzy. The monstrosities thrash against each other for a while until 682 clamps down on 096's body with its jaw and flings it towards the camera, at which point the recording stops abruptly. Gosh, wish I was there. Compared to seeing it live, it just doesn't have the same bite. Wouldn't you say, Carver? He ignores Daniels and continues the presentation. The screen behind Carver and Daniels flips through numerous images of SCP-096 as seen from behind. Each shows SCP-096 with various amounts and types of inflicted damage. Burns of various degrees, corroded flesh, bruised or even body parts that appear hollow. In every test, regardless of the damage dealt to the rest of it, SCP-096's bones survive unscathed. We have attempted to drill into the skull through the ocular sockets, but have been unsuccessful. An image of a broken drill bit appears on the screen behind Daniels. Every single test has shown that SCP-096's bones are completely indestructible. There is a pause, and then an image of a broken vertebrae appears on the screen. Until yesterday. A small murmur rises from the crowd, which fills Daniels with pride and satisfaction. He smiles. Yesterday, Daniels was allowed to be out of his cell to oversee his supposedly best plan to date to terminate SCP-096. Hold him! Daniels screamed at the agents from a nearby observation room as they connected a pipe to the now broken and open bones. SCP-096's marrow spilled slightly around the edges of the pipes as the hooked nozzle was latched into place. SCP-096 screamed and flailed as the pipe began to pump hydrofluoric acid directly into both the body and brain cavity of the monster. Acid bubbled out of the creature's mouth and the bag they'd placed on its head smoked before dissolving away completely. The thing's face, at once terrifying and pained, was melting away before their eyes. The agent's attempts to keep it pinned down now failed completely. It reached its hands up to cover its melting face, a face they had all just looked at. A single voice called out from the opposite side of the room from the agents surrounding SCP-173. Blinking! Then a low gurgling scream began in 096's throat. It rose in pitch and volume gradually until it was a deafening screech. The agents let the thing go and moved to the walls. Other agents moved slightly closer and leveled their guns. The monster's skin began to slough off into a puddle on the floor. Its gut burst and acid flew out in a small spray. The agents had facial protection from the acid, but nothing to protect them from its face. SCP-096 dropped its hands to its sides. It looked up at one of the agents, reached out, and began to run. Everyone opened fire. For the first time, and perhaps the last, bullets sank into the thing's body and bones. The first volley shattered the collarbone and threw the monster onto its back. It tried to get up, but the fire continued. They fired methodically up and down its body, starting with its legs and ending with its shattered, dissolving head. When they were done, there was nothing left but a pool of acid, gore, and rage. Spreading slowly across the floor, a voice called out again, "Blinking!" The agents at Dr. Daniel's sides each grabbed one of his shoulders. A third put him into handcuffs, and they led him out of the room. "Hey, Carver!" Carver turned towards him. "Perhaps after this, you can start thinking about killing 682 next, huh? Fat chance if you think that'll pardon your sentencing." "Oh, I'm not thinking of that. I'm way past that at this point. I'm thinking of you. It will be your project. When this is over, I'll be dead, and all you chumps will have to start thinking on your own 2 feet." Daniel smiled and was led out of the room, leaving Carver pondering, looking at what remains of 096. SCP-173 was exposed to SCP-096 and successfully broke its spine into 2 pieces between the 4th and 5th vertebrae. The image of a hole ripped into the side of a metal wall appears on the screen behind Dr. Daniels. Of course, after 5 hours of having its neck snapped, things went a little sideways, but recovery was accomplished fairly quickly, and you are now 1 step closer to being able to punish me. Congratulations. He bows. No one laughs. Yep, that's me. You might be wondering why I'm being flung around like a wet cloth by what's probably the angriest creature in existence. Well, to understand how I got into this beautiful mess in the first place, I'll have to start from the very beginning. You see, my mentor and best friend, Dr. Jack Bright. Yes, that Jack Bright. You know, the quasi-immortal bigwig, head honcho of the Foundation. Well, he gave it to me. Me! One of the most essential assignments you can have in the Foundation. Cleaning the frickin' library.
Is something the matter?
Nothing, Jack. Let me know if you need anything.
Ah, good timing. Follow me, Rubber.
Where are we going?
Feel it's about time I show you another anomaly. This one is also Nine's favorite.
He has a favorite anomaly?
He does, and I'm sure you'll love it too. Rubber, I'm about to show you one of the site's most dangerous and most prized possessions. Should we ever lose this item, it would devastate the Foundation's morale and crush Nine's soul.
I swear on my life, I will protect it at all costs. It's just a cake.
Just a cake? If words fail... then I'll make you understand. Take this. Yeah! Do you understand now?
Oh my, such flavor. It's moist and delectable. The taste lingers on the tongue, and it's just...
Here, Nines.
Exactly what he said.
By the way, SCP-871 is a Keter-class object. If we don't handle this self-replacing cake properly, it would render the Earth uninhabitable within 80 days.
What?
That said, I have an important mission for you.
Whatever it is, you can count on me.
Good. I need to go off-site for a while, so you're to clean the library while I'm gone.
You want me to clean the what now?
I want every nook shaken and every cranny whipped.
Isn't there an anomaly that needs capturing or a squad requesting backup? I didn't sign up to become a janitor.
Failing this task will mean termination. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You need to work your way up before you're field ready. For now, just clean the library. I expect nothing but excellence from you. Spotless. Am I clear?
You know, for a place that's supposed to have cutting-edge tech everywhere and crawling with the supernatural, there sure are a lot of normal going on. Every nook and cranny, spotless. Yeah. Oh, all clean.
I want every nook shaken and every cranny whipped. Spotless. Am I clear? Failing this task will mean termination.
Oh, it's okay, Rubber. Just one more room. Oh, there goes my weekend. 096? Oh, wonder what's it about? No, Rubber, stay. Get cleaning. Finally. 096 again, huh? Must resist. No, me need no more. SCP-096, aka The Shy Guy, spotted on a mountain alone. He attacks anyone that sees his face. Whoops, I hope it's not this picture. SCP-096's strength and speed increase as it becomes enraged by the person looking at his face. Any sculptures, paintings, or pictures that depict SCP-096 can trigger his violent state. So noisy. What's going on out here? Oh, come on. I just cleaned that wall. Man, Jack's gonna kill me. Whoa, who are you? Oh, you're the one in the picture. SCP-096. Shy Guy. Ow, that hurts. Okay, that's close enough. We all know what happens next. No need to see him tossing me around like a waifu pillow. Time for a break? So, we cool? Ow, what was that for? Ow, ow, ow. Are we done? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey there, buddy, you okay? It's okay, let it all out. I can see now that the reports of what you look like have been greatly exaggerated. You look fine and normal to me. I'm all ears if you want to vent. Just don't slam me around anymore. Hey, wait up! Dear Diary, I made a friend today. Guy, that's what I call him now. So we started talking and he told me what he went through. He doesn't like being called Shy Guy. He's not shy at all. He's actually pretty courteous to those around him, since he's aware that his features make people nervous. Guy also hates rude people. He hates it when people stare at him or take his picture or portrait without his consent. You must use really good sunblock. Now that he's calm and thinking more soundly, he admits that he does tend to maybe, sometimes, frequently overreact. He doesn't remember anything. Poor guy. He was excellent when he wasn't trying to kill me. Want a slice of heaven?
And sure you have your scramble goggles on. That's the only thing keeping you safe from SCP-096. All right, let's move it. Go, go, go. Secure the perimeter. What the?
Oh, hey you guys. Wow, that's a cool get-up.
Well, boys, we'll secure SCP-096 at once, I guess. Cuff him up. You all right, little guy?
Man, Jack's gonna be pissed when he comes back to this. Glad to see you guys, though.
All in a day's work, sir. Wait, what are you?
Cake, anyone?
Oh, crap!
Who trained these monkeys?
It seems that Rubber was able to make a connection with SCP-096.
That Bright's intern? What's he thinking? Making him an intern.
For all we know, he probably orchestrated the entire event. I thought Bright would have learned his place by now. It seems he still wants power.
A lesson might be in order.
Not just yet. Let's keep this going for now. I'd like to see what else Rubber can do.
We hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Have a favorite SCP you want to see on this channel? Leave us your suggestions in the comments down below. In the meantime, if you'd like to see more SCP content, then check out some of our other videos right here. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.